At this time of generational transition and perennial environmental challenges, Indigenous youth are rising as active agents of change for sustainability and self-determination. Southeast Asia is home to a diverse range of Indigenous peoples, each with unique and equally challenging concerns. The rapid pace of development is putting pressure on Indigenous cultures. Indigenous youth are often caught between two worlds, struggling to maintain their traditional identities while also adapting to the modern world.
So the challenge that we face here is the young generation is they getting hard to accept their identity as Indigenous people.
Many youth in our tribe are now having lack of interest of even just by knowing how our identity as Indigenous youth has distinct sides from other people.
The current generation have a totally different lifestyle as to the previous generations. So it really makes it harder for the Indigenous knowledge to be transferred as a whole. Indigenous youth are also often faced with discrimination, which limits their avenues for personal growth and building a healthy life.
Youth are also facing discrimination just because they are different. And they start to adapt just to be like other people, just to be normal. And they actually sometimes they forget their own language and also their tradition.
Indigenous communities have been targeted and enforced to come to the center with many human rights violations in the past and in the present as well. Indigenous peoples have been marginalized for decades and decades.
Despite these challenges, Indigenous youth are full of aspirations that someday their communities have a secured future, with the younger generations being able to practice proudly their Indigenous culture and language.
And my aspiration is, I hope the next generation they should be grateful on themselves and be proud of their identity to be an Indigenous people.
I envision to see my Indigenous culture come back to life, and Indigenous people are still practicing our beloved culture.
Preservation of our cultural heritage. We want recognition and respect for our unique identities, ensuring that our rich traditions and knowledge are cherished and passed down to our future generations.
The children in my village as well as my town in general, they should go to school, because I think only the education can help them.
As empowered individuals, youth from Indigenous communities, combined with their deep understanding of their Indigenous identity and connection to their lands and territories, have much to contribute in advancing the principles of inclusion, transparency, and responsiveness within their respective communities.
What I do now is I try to document every Indigenous knowledge here in my community, because I have an interest on documenting things, and in hope that one day they can use it as archive or they can learn from it.
Right now, I am also a volunteer for my Indigenous organization. I mostly join in podcasts as well as video recording to spread the knowledge about our Indigenous people, as well as the problem that we are facing right now.
I'll come back to my hometown and to support the children, the kids in my hometown to learning English. Because I think English is very popular, and if they know English, they can search or learn almost everything in the world.
Participating in important advocacy campaigns that I believe can help to save the future for us as Indigenous people.
I aim to empower Indigenous youths and community, fostering a sense of pride in their heritage and instilling the belief that they have the agency to shape their own destinies.
I have intended dreams to strengthen and restore back our identity, values, and knowledge to our young generations.
In face of challenges, Indigenous youth are resilient and determined. Through sustained efforts to develop the capacity of new generation of Indigenous youth leaders, fostering youth engagement, and amplifying youth voices, Indigenous youth can be active agents of change and sustainable development, not just in the future, but now.
Praise your own culture as much as possible, because our own culture, Indigenous people culture and tradition define who we are, and it's actually a great benefit for all of us.
I also continue to encourage them, to support them, to help them to get a better life. This is my aspiration.